This content was created purely for entertainment and informational purposes. The creators of this vlog do not endorse drinking and driving, debauchery, underage drinking, public intoxication, speeding, street racing or any other form of delinquency. I'm just a guy, with a drink, talking about cars. Please don't take this too seriously.
Yes, Zoom lady with the recording in progress.
That was so embarrassing. All
right.
Let me re-rack. Let's just dive into it.
That's right. You don't even have to look. We don't even have to do no editing because boom, we got to do it all again anyway.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Killer Bee, the Fat Man, the Africanized Honeybee, the Car Guy Blog 05 at gmail.com, Guy at 05Car on Twitter, at 05Car on Instagram, at 05Car on Facebook. The word zero, Z-E-R-O, the number 5, fifth. The word car, C-A-R. With me, as always, is my fabulous co-host, May Flowers. What up, May?
What up?
Yo, man. Life is crazy. First of all, let me say, racist people suck. I just got done watching Miss Marvel. That show was good. That girl, Iman Vellani, well, she's not a girl. She's 19. Iman Vellani, Canadian of Pakistani origin, just delightful and charming and just fun. The character was well written. The family, the idea that Kamala Khan is very much a Peter Parker analog. You got Peter Parker, you got Miles Morales, you got Kamala Khan. They all have the same basic archetype. They are high school students who get superpowers, but they're still high school students. They have to deal with the everyday life of being, not the most popular kid in school, but also not the bottom of the heap either. Just a kid trying to navigate high school and life and their teenage years. With Kamala, it's that theme of trying to grow up and branch out on your own, but your parents don't want to let you go, that thing. And they played that perfectly. And people who didn't want to watch the show because they're Muslim, God forbid, we have a positive example of a Muslim family.
What you mean? They're not all terrorists and people who are going to blow us up.
Look, I was an engineer for 22 years and 6 years as an engineering student before that. So for basically 30 years, I've been dealing with people from the Far East, either from India, Hindu or Sikh or Muslim or Pakistani Muslims or Syrian Muslims or people from Jordan, people from the African continent. I mean, I knew Muslims from like Gambia, Uganda, Niger. I don't know anybody that's blown up anything. Same way I've never knocked over a liquor store.
And you're not a rapper.
Or sold a dime bag and I'm not a rapper.
You're not a rapper.
Most people, I used to live by this philosophy. Most people just want to raise their goats and feed their kids. That's it. So this show was very refreshing and fun. And people who didn't watch it because they're just haters, well,
absolutely. Because the whole, first of all, they get all bent out of shape over superhero origin story people.
Fictional characters.
It's all fake anyway.
And look. If you take an existing character and gender or race swap them, which is something that's been going on for like 50 years, they get mad. Well, they need to make their own characters. If you launch an original new character that's of color or gay or queer or whatever, they're mad about that too. So you just can't win. So
why gotta be the Purple Panther? And
I spent half the week reminding people the first time Jane Foster was Thor was in a What If comic in 1978. The first time we had a female Captain Marvel was 1982. She was black and female. She-Hulk dates back to 1979 or 1980. These are not new concepts. This idea of, okay, we got a male version, we're going to make a female version. Supergirl, Batgirl, Batwoman. I mean, these are not new concepts. Just like, get over yourself, damn it. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway.
Yesterday, I had to go to the hardware store, Lowe's. I had to go to Lowe's, but there was a storm, right? But while I was over there by Lowe's, I was like, oh, fish. I want to get a fried fish plate. So I call ahead to the fried fish restaurant. That same one we used to go to in that town where we went to college.
Mm-hmm.
They got like 8 locations across the state, right? So I call over there, catfish platter, baked potato, hush puppies, coleslaw, the deal. I run in Lowe's, I get what I need. I walk out of Lowe's with exactly 4 items, 3 brackets of the exact same type, and a tube of glue. I return. No, I don't return to the house. I run across the street because it's like a mile away to the fish shop. I get there. I see like 30 people in red t-shirts clogging up the front area of the store and parking lot. Grandma has turned 85 and they took grandma to dinner.
Hey,
But
congratulations, Grandma.
you know how big family meals are. There's like 30 people eating and they're splitting the bill across like 8 people, right? But apparently what they ordered and who paid for what changed at some point. So the waitress had voided out all the tickets and written all new tickets. And the lady working the register was getting frustrated and mad at the waitress, but the waitress wouldn't come up front. And then they get to arguing. And meanwhile, I got these 8 motherfuckers in front of me, moving slow, paying shit with cash. One of them wanted their deposit back, and this one and that
Lord.
one. And I'm waiting, and I can't get my food, even though I know it's ready because I called ahead, but I can't get my food because there's 8 people in front of me waiting to pay before I can pay for mine. And this storm's coming, and it's coming. And the kids are running in and out the door, and grandma's trying to get out, and I'm holding the door for her and her walker. And I'm not even related to this lady, but I'm holding the door for her. And everybody's saying, ooh, it's going to rain. No shit, it's going to rain. Pay for your shit and get out of my way. But no.
Basically,
so
come the hell on so we can go.
Downpour. I got trees flying sideways. I got hail bouncing off of my windshield. I'm trying to get home. I'm wondering, like, is the creek going to be flooded? Am I going to get to the low point in this road and get washed off into the damn creek? Because these motherfuckers don't know how to go somewhere and pay for a meal with one credit card and cash app the money or give him cash for what you owe and get the out of the store.
Cash app, PayPal, Zelle, whatever your preferred payment of choice.
Up, right?
Figure this out later.
Oh, I'm so mad. And they was our people, of course.
Of course. Because you had said that you was going to pay because last time when we went out and no, man.
I literally got flashbacks of my cousins and them.
And we ain't talking about plates that are no more than like $20, $25. We're not even talking about like, we're not at the Roof Chris.
Right.
Okay? We're not at the family style with the bottles of wine.
Like $6.
Exactly. We're not splitting the table. We didn't order steaks and drinks, and we're not doing that. We at the local spot.
So then, before I can ring my out, now the waitress comes and her and the girl on the checkout are arguing. Or not girl, the woman on the checkout is like 60. But they're arguing and fussing back and forth about why'd you change it this way and why'd you do it that way and this is how you're supposed to do it and this is how you do it and all of that and it just worrying my nerves. But anyway, we're here to talk about Cars and Coffee, Morrisville, North Carolina. Morrisville, not Morrisville, which is near Charlotte. I'm talking about Morrisville, which is near Raleigh. July 2nd, Cars and Coffee event. Now, first things first. This event out there on Page Road at the corner of Page Road and Chapel Hill Road, that is not Morrisville. That's Durham. All of those businesses on that corner in that parking lot have Durham zip codes, Durham mailing addresses. And for those of y'all who don't know, here in North Carolina, Durham and Raleigh are 2 different cities in 2 different counties. Downtown to downtown is like 30 miles apart. Yes, the cities do touch because of suburban sprawl over the years, but as originally drawn, they are quite a ways away from each other. They were like a horse and buggy day ride away from each other.
Not the horse and buggy.
Yeah. Well, that's why Durham exists, right?
As a place where the horses could shit?
No, Durham and Orange County used to be the same county. And because of the distance it took to go from Chapel Hill to Durham to do business, they cut the county in half and made Orange County a county and made Durham County a county.
Oh, okay.
Which is why Durham County and Orange County are physically smaller than, Wake County is actually quite large. Wake County is one of the larger, land-wise, one of the larger counties in the state. It also has a very high population. Okay, moving on. Cars and Coffee is a global thing. The website is in English and Italian, which makes me think that clearly it originated in Europe. But I'm going to read you from cars.coffee/about.
Okay.
Automobile. one of mankind's bravest creations, the protagonist of a society relentlessly experiencing innovation, a mean of unification contributing to a globalized civilization. Automobile is also and above all a vehicle of passion. In motorsports, it embodies the challenge to personal limits. It can turn millions of people into crowds of cheering fans. Strong emotions are unleashed when admiring speed, design, and cutting-edge technology. Automobile is the smile of children when they get a toy car and push it on the floor, imagining themselves adult one day. Some collect them, some admire them, some dream of them. This is the Cars and Coffee community, where automobile is lived as a way of sharing. Their motto, bring the supercar dream all over the world. This is our goal. Okay, that is really lofty sounding.
It is. That sounds extra
I can
fancy.
tell, according to the website, the only official USA chapters of Cars and Coffee are like Texas and New York, maybe Los Angeles. I forgot. I didn't pull the site up in front of me right now. Here in North Carolina, according to the Facebook, we have a North Raleigh, a Morrisville, which would really be southwest Wake County, which is the county Raleigh is in, Charlotte, Greensboro, Fayetteville. So basically, there's two for the triangle, and then one for every other major metro in the state. I haven't seen a Wilmington yet, but Wilmington is or isn't a major city, depending on who you ask.
True.
Anyway, like I said, this event is not in Morrisville. It's in Durham, first thing. And it's right on the corner of RTP, which for those that don't know, the Research Triangle Park is a special tax incentivized area carved out of Wake and Durham counties, basically to take advantage of local universities and to incentivize high-tech businesses to move to this area. It opened in the 50s or 60s, I believe. RTP has its own zip code. RTP is not legally in any of the counties that it was carved out of. So like the taxes, they don't pay taxes to the counties. There's some special legal statuses out there. But more importantly, for those that don't know, the triangle consists of Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, or Wake, Durham, and Orange counties. Chapel Hill's a town, not a city, technically. But of course, there we have North Carolina State University, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, which is the state's flagship land-grant and flagship liberal arts colleges. And then, of course, Duke University, which is a major medical research center. The RTP area consists of a lot of high-dollar businesses, including biopharmaceutical, crop science, electronics research, software development, aerospace, composites, gene, whatever, splicing, dicing, making monsters that go bump in the night. You got SAS Institute, which is not technically in RTP, but close by. So you have a lot of companies where people make a lot of money. A lot of global, high-end, high-dollar jobs in this area. Plus, you add the major universities and their associated sports coaches, all of whom make a lot of money. The large research hospitals where the higher-end folks make a lot of money. State government is here. A lot of people that make a lot of money. Our federal representation, spend a lot of time in Raleigh. You see the picture developing here.
Basically, folks got money so they can buy fancy cars.
Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am. Wait, do you get offended if I call you sir?
I don't care.
All right. Yeah.
Not because I identify as that pronoun, but because I know that it is a term that people use, and it is usually gender non-specific.
So woke.
Just like some people say, yes, ma'am.
Why is she so woke?
Right. Let me get off.
Yeah, a lot of people here with a lot of cars. One might argue that people here make too much money. And they don't know what to do.
Ain't no such thing.
Right. So without doubt, many fine automobiles there. Ferrari was represented, Porsche was represented, Nissan GTR was there, Supra, BMW i8, Lamborghini. There was a Trump car. I mean, it was a Corvette, but it was emblazoned with the name of our 45th president, and also that it's running for U.S. Senate, replacing the other what's his name? Rich. Yeah. The stock cheater. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that, was I? He was acquitted.
I mean, not out loud, but
The alleged stock cheater.
Nobody heard it.
The alleged inside trader. Moving on, because this is not a political podcast. Yeah, my frat brother, he's a Corvette guy, and American cars were the featured mark this month or that month in July. So he's a Corvette guy. So he had his Corvette. He's like, yeah, I'm going to the thing. You coming? Yeah, I'll be there. I'll meet you there. So I get there and he and I walk around and he's like, oh, you got to see this car. Because he thought I was going to lose my right? He thought I was going to go on Facebook right then and start a rant.
Or either that or you're going to like walk up to the driver and like try to like punch him out. But like,
nah, because this is North Carolina and we're all about Second Amendment around here. So I know there was at least 15 or 20 people there that were strapped, minimum.
And it ain't even worth it. Them kind of people, they're not even worth trying to engage with.
Right. So like I told him, man, I don't even see this car. I did try to do an Instagram live reel and that did not work. No, I wasn't trying to do a live. I was trying to do a reel and that failed miserably. I recorded it and could not figure out how to release it. So it bye-bye. What else happened? Somebody was flying a drone over us, which I thought was sketchy because that particular, I know that geography well. I used to live in that neighborhood. I lived 1.8 miles from that location, right up Page Road. And I can tell you they are deep within RDU airspace. However, just by the height of that building and where he was flying, I know he was well under the 400-foot ceiling. So he may have called and gotten permit or not called. You don't physically call. There's a web app you can do, but he may have gotten permission from RDU air traffic control to fly his drone in that area because he was not, as long as he was in that area and underneath the 400-foot limit, he was not any danger to any aircraft in the area. But that is technically a no-fly zone unless you have explicit permission. So
yeah, especially being so close to the airport.
I thought that was interesting. Well, at any given airport, you can draw a circle 5 miles in radius, and that's the no-go area for the lowest level of air traffic. And then above that, there's a circle that's another 5 miles wide. But whatever. My phone just went off. I got a message of some sort. Anyway, yeah, it was a good crowd there. There were a couple of vendors. There was a food truck that was selling donuts. Now, early Saturday morning, food truck, the smell of frying donuts. They had a line. They had a long line. And while the donuts did smell very good, I have a personal philosophy that I don't stand in line for donuts.
You're missing out, sir.
Well, let me explain it this way. This is North Carolina, the home of Krispy Kreme.
But we off them.
At any given moment, there are literally thousands of hot, fresh Krispy Kreme donuts available for purchase. There are day-old or cold Krispy Kreme donuts available at almost every retail grocery store. There are Hostess and Little Debbie sealed donuts available at every gas station. I'm not going to stand in line for a freaking donut. There's entirely too many donuts available to me for me to stand in line for a donut.
But are they good donuts? First of all, nobody wants a
good donuts. It's a question. Lies. Is it a good donut or is it a better donut? But all donuts.
Or is it an excellent donut?
It's like a cheeseburger. All cheeseburgers are cheeseburgers. It's just a matter of how good it is. So if the line at McDonald's is wrapped around the block, them, I'm going to Burger King.
Ew.
I'm saying. Anyway, I don't stand in line for donuts, even though they did smell really, really good. There were an inordinate number of families and especially small children and pets. And as a general rule, again, I'm a single guy, but I don't like mixing cars and kids and pets.
Yeah, I feel that way too about like little kids at the brewery. Like I understand why you do it because it's outside, it's free, it's Saturday morning and they up for no damn reason.
Yeah, but the brewery doesn't move. Cars weigh thousands of pounds. And, the person driving the large 1970 Dodge Challenger cannot see your toddler.
Absolutely.
From their driving position as they try to back into a parking space in between a Corvette and a Lamborghini that they don't want to scratch.
Well, and I think that's the thing people don't realize, right? Which is weird because these are the same parents who actually won't let their children out of their sight for any reason to actually do anything. However, these are the same people who won't hold their hand or get them one of those god awful. I hate those book bag leash things.
The
but
harness?
yeah, the rat harness.
Leash your
Oh,
child.
those bother
Free the
me. But
dogs, leash the children.
yeah, that bothers me.
No, I'm all about leashing both, but
Both, right.
no, because I mean, you're in a parking lot and every space almost was filled between vendor tents and cars. And this event has grown. There were hundreds of cars there. And, you got a guy on a big piece of Detroit iron trying to back into a parking space. He's got a high stall torque converter, which means he's got to give it a lot of gas even to make it creep. And he's trying to back up. So he's looking over his shoulder. The nose of the car is swinging around. I'm an adult. I know how to drive. I know what he's trying to do. I'm watching his fender arc to make sure I don't get nudged, right? But in front of me is a child. And it's not my child.
But I'm still nervous, right?
Right. And finally, the child's mother says something to the child and snatches the child and starts yelling, of course. And I'm like, man, keep a hold of your kids. There's cars. It's a parking lot. It's a car show. So I get a little nervous because inattentive parents and, God forbid you run over, bump, nudge, or come too close to their child or their dog and they go ballistic. And now you got a situation. So I was
going to be salty.
My boy, like, look, there's entirely too many kids and pets in this little tight space with all these cars. I'm nervous. I know what I'm doing out here and I'm nervous. I can't imagine. No, this is, and again, I'm paranoid. I'll admit it. I'm one of those people that tends to worry to the extreme about such things. But I mean, I've seen somebody run over their own dog before.
Oh, yikes.
I mean, and not like running over, but like literally backed over their dog's leg and broke their dog's leg. And now instead of going where they were supposed to be going, they got to take the dog to the damn emergency vet. And the dog's whimpering and whining. And yeah, you would too if somebody run over you and broke your leg.
Heck yeah.
So, I get a little on edge when you're in tight, because it's not like it's a retail place. This is a business plaza. And while there are some, food outlets in that parking lot, it's mostly office buildings and banks. So early Saturday morning, they're not open. The retail outlets are there were mostly lunch type places. The exception being your First Watch, because they do brunch, so they were open. But I don't think Moe's Southwest Grill is a breakfast spot. I'm pretty sure Chipotle doesn't serve breakfast. Firehouse Subs, I don't believe, serves breakfast. So a number of places that just aren't open that time of the day, and the rest of it is business space. So you're not expecting this parking lot to be busy on a Saturday, excepting there being a car show there. A drive-in event with anything goes. It doesn't charge any fees, so everybody shows up. And aside from that, though, it was pretty good. It's interesting, though, the number of because I've been in the car culture for a long time, and the number of husbands and wives and dudes with their girlfriends, and the ever decreasing number of booth babes. There were a few.
Not the booth babes.
They were a little bit pale and not super, well, let me be nice. There was a time where those would have been exquisitely bronzed Asian young ladies with lots of makeup and, 200cc implant jobs. And
I think those days are over.
Yeah, I think those days are pretty much gone.
I'm surprised you saw any of the car babes at all. I'm surprised they're still doing
they were hawking wares for some company or another. I didn't even check really, but that kind of thing is slowly but surely going away, which I get that we have to evolve past that, but I do miss a good spokesmodel, shall I say. But that's really not what Cars and Coffee is about anyway. Like I said, it is primarily a family-friendly type of scene, and the owners there tend to be more mature dudes. It's not like back in the day when I was going to Nopi and Battle of the Imports and whatnot, and your typical attendee was 19.65 years of age. Nice time. A lot of high dollar iron, high grade automobiles from all that high grade money in the greater Triangle region of North Carolina, which is really, we talk about the three major counties, but really we're talking about a 7-county region with a population of like 2.8 million and a relatively high, the inner area of that region makes a lot of money. And then as you go further out, you get more into agriculture country and people make less money. But, a lot of rich folks in the triangle, and they're not shy about bringing out their toys.
Now, did it look like these were people who like actually knew about and drove and participated in car culture with their Ferraris and their Porsches or whatever? Or these are the people who just, I have my Porsche, that I trot out on the weekend just to say I have a Porsche. And then really, I'm really all about that Prius life.
I will say a number of these cars, especially the Porsches, they had PCA, Porsche Club of America stickers on them, which doesn't mean they race. But it has been my experience, having been involved in an autocross club in this area, having been the Virginia International Raceway, and knowing that local clubs do track events. There are a number of people in this area. There is a significant population of people in this area who drive their cars for real. There is also a population of people in this area. It is not uncommon for me to be going to Food Lion or not Winn-Dixie, bad example. It is not uncommon for me to be going to Food Lion or Harris Teeter or Wegmans and see a Ferrari in the parking lot or pass by one along the way, or, the Porsche, the Acura NSX, the Nissan GTR, more Teslas than I can count. There are a number of people in this area who have very nice cars who drive them fairly regular in terms of commuting and literally going to get groceries or, going to pick up the kid from school. So you get a mix. You get the people that have their trailer queen or their garage kept car that they're polishing it with the diaper. You get people that show up and they got bugs splattered all over the windshield. There were a couple of, VW based dune buggies out there, including one with what I could only assume to be faux rust, along with a number of faux machine guns on it. So
not faux. Is faux rust hot in these streets right now?
I mean,
as opposed to the real
rust? A
certain
type of car, you want it to have some patina, but you don't literally want your car to be rusting because it's rust. So there are ways to apply finishes to a car that make them look like they're rusted or oxidized paint when in fact they're fully protected and are not going to melt the first time it rains. So I would say, yeah, there is such a thing as faux rust if you're going for a certain type of look. And I didn't photograph any of the dune buggy type vehicles because I thought they were a little over the top, especially the one with all the fake guns on it. But compared to when they were out there in 2020, and granted that was right as we were coming off lockdown. That was June 2020. So we were just coming off of a really severe lockdown. We didn't have a vaccine yet, but compared to back then, this event has grown enormously. Granted, part of that is because that area has been developed and what had previously been green space with a for sale, for lease sign on it has now turned into a large number of businesses and parking lots. So there's simply space available there. As I mentioned, it is primarily Monday through Friday type businesses, office space. So on Saturday mornings, that space is relatively unencumbered, which makes it a relatively good location, all things considered.
Excellent.
Yeah, probably the next closest place they could go would be to go into RTP proper, which is a few miles further down the road and probably a little more difficult to get permission to use the parking lots. And also, a lot of people don't know this. If you've ever been deep inside Research Triangle Park, you'll understand that area is a little bit hilly.
It is.
Yeah.
And
out there at Page Road, the corner of Page and Chapel Hill Road is relatively flat. And pretty soon there's going to be a Topgolf across the way. So, then we'll be able to do Cars and Coffee and leave there and go
play Topgolf
and get wings and beer. So
that's right. Hit a couple balls. And
that pisses me off that no sooner than I sell my house and move away that they build a Topgolf less than a mile down the street.
Of course. I mean, duh. It's almost like they did it to spite you.
I'm pretty sure they did it to spite me. So you know what? Topgolf.
Yeah.
which is
I don't
funny
know.
because
I've never been. I heard it's fun.
we have a drive shack in Raleigh already. But that's in Raleigh proper, so that's about 10 or 12 miles down the interstate. So they should probably be okay. They're playing in different markets, basically.
Yeah, Top Golf is a different kind of different. I think it's a different clientele.
I don't know because I've never been to a drive shack. I have been on Top Golf. I've never been to a drive shack.
I haven't been to either.
And I always assumed they were the same, but yeah, they might have a different clientele, like Burger King and McDonald's. They're not really the same.
Yeah, it's different.
Any weird questions for me?
Yeah. So you said this one was mostly US car focused. Is that kind of what they do? They do themes, or it's just kind of show up and everybody
They pick month to month. They usually pick a featured brand or mark or region or whatever. But yeah, you just show up with what you got. There was a lot of folks with low dollar Japanese cars of the ilk that I typically run with. The European guys were there. The Germans were there. The Italians were represented. The Japanese were definitely represented, but also, a Hennessy Camaro, a Hennessy 1,000 horsepower Camaro, a Hennessy 850 horsepower Camaro, a string of Corvettes, several Chargers, your Hellcats, your Challengers, classic Detroit Iron, you name it, they had it. So a little bit of everything. And then, there were a couple of shit boxes too. Because it is pretty much, because people who show up to look at the other cars can park where everybody else is parking. So like I parked further away just because I didn't want to deal with traffic, but you can just drive in and park your Camry right next to a $600,000 whatever. And
right.
Well,
and so is there a program of any kind? Is there like an MC or anybody who's like kind of leading anything?
Come to think of it, I don't even think there was a DJ. I think it was
I don't say is there anybody playing or were there other people
there
who just
very loose gaggle type,
music?
Like maybe an official Cars and Coffee event that's officially sanctioned might have some structure to it, but these are Facebook groups that just say, hey, this parking lot, this day, these times,
come on out.
Or they might do a quick internet poll to see what the featured brand is or which cars from the featured brand will get the reserved parking spaces up in the very front. But yeah, no, it's just show up and show off. It is the democratization of car culture.
Fun.
Probably the way it should be, honestly.
I said probably. I said that's you want, in order to build that kind of culture, you really do want your entry point to be very basic so that anybody can enter. And then where you go from there is where you go.
Loving car, just because, I love cars. I can't afford nice cars though. So am I banned from going? Well, no. And even though my 240 is relatively rare now, there was a point where it wasn't, where it was, it was the entry level car that a kid fresh out of college or a high school kid with a good job could buy.
Yeah.
Especially used. So, it was good. Good. You're a little jealous of the high end stuff, but there's plenty of stuff in my price bracket there. And God forbid I ever buy another 350, I'll drive it out there and park it right in the gaggle with everybody else. Or if I ever get the Stinger running again.
Yeah.
They're doing Japanese cars next month. And I almost sent in a picture of the Stinger and I was like, if they gave me a parking space, there's no way I could get it there without a tow truck. So I'm not doing that. But we're going to wrap. What I will say is, and this always,
are you going to go back?
I'm not asking for your money. I'm not begging for your money. I just need your engagement. So if you are so inclined, please leave a comment. Please reach out to me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Please, respond to me. I need to do for only 99 cents a day, YouTube.
for just the price of a cup of coffee, which is live, because a cup of coffee now you go to the Bucks, it's like almost $3.
I don't need your money. I just need engagement.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
The algorithm does not like creators of color. And I don't know that to be absolutely true, but I have heard that the algorithm can be less kind to creators of color, but whatever. What I would say is I would like to do a mailbag episode. And for me to do a mailbag episode, I need mail. So send me mail Ask me crazy shit so I can give you weird answers. And let's just have fun doing this. I appreciate the subscribers that I have and the people that do listen, because I do check the metrics occasionally. But mostly I'm just doing this for fun and to practice my public speaking chops, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't have any intention of ever trying to monetize this thing. I just want to enjoy the ride. So like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Drop comments in the comment thread, and I'll see you soon with more content. May, you got anything?
No, that's it. We out.
We out. When you have to record the show twice because you forgot to hit the record button the first time.
Oh, I listen to some podcasts.